When the storm cuts the lights and the world goes silent, some things don't just knock, they enter. And you realize too late that no one outside can hear you scream. If your heart is already racing, stay with me. Watch until the end, and if at any moment you feel the storm outside listening to you, drop a comment. And tell me if you dare, the storm didn't announce itself. It crept over the horizon, a dark wall of clouds rolling in slowly. Distant rumbles of thunder sounded like some enormous beast turning in its sleep. By the time the rain began, heavy and relentless, the world outside had already turned into a blur of shadows. Lightning flashes revealed the neighborhood in harsh, white snapshots, leaving everything else swallowed by darkness. I was at home, alone, sitting on the couch. The soft glow of my laptop was the only warmth in the room. Suddenly the lights flickered violently, then died completely. The house was plunged into a silence so complete it felt like it was pressing in on me. The absence of electricity made every small noise seem amplified, almost cruelly sharp. The tapping of the rain on the roof, the groan of the wind through the eaves, the final hum of the refrigerator. Each sound sliced through the stillness like a warning. I tried to reassure myself that it was just a storm, that the power would return any minute. But when I reached for my phone, it was dead as well, the battery showing a flat line. I turned on its flashlight, but the weak glow barely illuminated the furniture around me. That's when I heard it. The first knock at the door. Soft, polite, regular. 3 taps, almost rhythmic, yet somehow deliberate in a way that made my heart tighten instantly. I froze, my breath shallow, staring at the door in the darkness, listening as the storm raged. For a moment, I convinced myself it was just a branch falling, just the wind, just my imagination. But then came the footsteps outside. Slow, careful, precise, moving along the walls of the house. I realized that the knock had been intentional. Someone or something was testing the house, learning it, observing it. I whispered hello, without meaning to. The movement stopped immediately, as if I had just alerted whatever was out there that I was awake. The next few minutes stretched endlessly. The storm roared louder, my ears ringing, every hair on my body standing on end. Then the knocking returned, louder this time. Not just at the front door, but at the windows as well. Fingers tapping against the glass, dragging along the frames, shifting from one to the next. It was as if they were marking every boundary of my home, every weak point, every potential entry. I tried calling for help, but there was no signal, not even a trace. Panic rose in me as I realized the power outage was not coincidental. The electricity had been cut deliberately, leaving me isolated, trapped, invisible to the world outside while someone inside the storm was hunting me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I moved through the hallway slowly, holding my phone like a fragile shield, the weak circle of light trembling with every step. My mind was racing with scenarios, all equally horrifying. Then, the first window shattered violently, with a sound like gunfire, sending glass spraying across the floor. And I heard them moving through the lower level of the house. Their footsteps were heavy, deliberate, unbothered by the fact that they might be heard. This was not a break-in born of panic. It was a calculated intrusion. Each step was a statement of control. Their voices reached me next. Low, conversational, chilling in their casualness. They commented on furniture, objects, corners of the house. Not yelling, not threatening, only cataloging, noting, recording. And when they referred to me, it was always as the one inside, never by name, never as a person. As if acknowledging my humanity would have been unnecessary, almost disrespectful. I backed into a corner trying to hide, but the storm outside seemed to have merged with the silence inside, swallowing my own movements, making my presence negligible. They reached the stairs. Each step was deliberate, rhythmic, echoing in the darkness. I realized that my hiding place was useless because they were not searching. They were following a routine, a method, a plan that had been executed countless times before in homes across countless storms. When the world outside drowned out cries, when electricity failed, when nobody could hear. The handle of my bedroom door rattled softly at first, testing the lock. Then with more force, almost respectfully, a voice spoke from outside, low, calm, but carrying a weight that made me shrink back. The storm has everything covered. You will not be heard. It will be easier if you do not resist. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the gap beneath the door. For the briefest second, I could see shadows moving. The outline of figures, tall, impossibly thin, distorted by the brief light. And I realized that no matter what I did, the storm had become their accomplice, shielding their movements, erasing every sound, hiding every step. I tried to push the door closed, to hold it shut, but it gave under the pressure. Suddenly, the bedroom was invaded, not with force but with presence. A suffocating weight of bodies and intent that made the air itself feel thick. And I understood then that this was not a random attack, not a burglary, not a crime of opportunity. The storm had been part of the plan, the silence, part of the ritual. And my house, my life, had been selected in advance. I stumbled backward, falling to the floor. Their whispering voices surrounded me, commenting, cataloging, teasing. The words were strange and alien, yet horrifyingly mundane. They described the layout of the room, the positions of furniture, and me, crouched in the corner, wet hair plastered to my face, eyes wide in terror, mouth open in a silent scream. I tried to run, but the hallway seemed to stretch infinitely. The doors that should have been closed were now open, and every turn led me deeper into a maze of darkness and rain-soaked shadows. One figure appeared in front of me suddenly. Silent, taller than any human, with features obscured by the storm's dim light. I recognized the sound of its breathing, wet, heavy, close, the kind of sound that fills your chest with ice. And when it spoke directly to me, the voice was no longer calm but intimate, sinister in its familiarity. You cannot leave tonight. The storm will carry your screams, and no one will hear them. You are part of the pattern now. My limbs froze, panic raging. Rational thought fleeing as the sound of other footsteps closed in, circling me, pressing from all sides. I realized with a sickening clarity that this was not about theft or violence. It was about control, domination, erasure. They were not here to rob. They were here to consume the night, to blend with it, to teach me what it meant to be unheard, to be completely alone while the world outside drowned in water and noise. Hours passed, though I could not track them. Time stretched like the shadows themselves. And with every crack of thunder, every flicker of lightning, I felt my own heart trying to escape my chest. My breathing shallow and ragged, my mind trapped in a haze of fear and disbelief. When the storm finally subsided, and dawn began to press faint light against the curtains, I found myself outside the house. Soaked, shaking, unable to explain what had happened. My clothes were torn, my body exhausted. The doors and windows appeared normal, intact, with no sign of the intrusion, no broken locks, no shattered glass, as if the night had been a dream. Police arrived shortly after, called by a neighbor who had seen lightning flash across my living room, or so they claimed. But the building showed no evidence of entry, no sign of any presence beyond mine. When I tried to recount the night, the storm, the figures, the voices cataloging my life, the officers nodded politely. They dismissed it as a hallucination induced by stress and sleep deprivation, storm anxiety, nothing more. Yet, every time it rains heavily now, I hear it again. The soft, patient knock, the careful footsteps along walls, the whispered voice reminding me that the storm has always been their ally. And no matter how many lights I turn on, how many doors I lock, I know deep down that the night they came is not finished, that the pattern continues, and that under the storm, when the electricity fails and the world grows silent, no one will hear you scream, and there is nothing anyone can do to stop it. If this story followed you longer than it should have, don't face the silence alone. Like this video, subscribe, and explore the other stories, because some visitors only come when the lights go out.